Hello, everybody. My name is Zojalyx, and welcome back to another episode of the Countertop, which is where we discuss any theories or just anything that would be considered logical within the world of VeggieTales. In this series, we have been talking about the mantle of Larryboy, and we kind of went and traced through the every single episode that the mantle of Larryboy would have been shown, or at least the family line of Larry the Cucumber that we know and we love today. And in today's video, we are going to be going over. We're going to be taking a huge jump in the time gap because we have a lot of information after the events of King George and the Ducky, and that is missing. We got a couple hundred years that are kind of missing in that zone. But we are going to now be jumping forward a couple hundred years and going into a slightly more modernized era in which we can see the mantle of Larryboy fully being developed. Not just the mantle of Larryboy, though, but also the mantle of the entirety of the League of Incredible Vegetables. I apologize for my camera focus kind of wigging in and out. I don't know exactly what causes that. I think it might be my glasses, honestly. But anyway, without further ado, let's dive into today's episode and show you where exactly the mantle of Larryboy truly begins. The time period now is that we're going to be looking for is you actually see this example within the footage of see the beginning of this example within the show VeggieTales Larryboy and the Bad Apple. So basically, it's in that one scene when Alfred is like, I need to go to the VeggieTales Historical Society to be able to figure out more information about the webs and what's necessarily been going on there. So he goes to the library, and as he's in the library, he starts doing some research, and he finds this film of the founding of Bumbleburg, to which you see basically a rendition of the Pilgrims coming over from the from Europe over to then start Bumbleburg on a ship known as the Cauliflower. And so basically what happens, they come over on the Cauliflower, and you have now the founder of Bumbleburg, Obadiah Bumbley. Once you've now got Obadiah Bumbley in the scene, you can then, this is Larry's ancestor. It's kind of implied within Larryboy and the Bad Apple that Obadiah Bumbley is an ancestor of Larryboy, and that's where we can then just assume that this is actually canon. And so what we've got now is Obadiah Bumbley comes in and he utters his big line.
Today, we give thanks for our safe arrival on these beautiful and bountiful shores. Obadiah Bumbley.
So he comes in and he founds Bumbleburg, creates the city and whatever it starts off as. And within that time period, you then got Ephraim Appley, who is the ancestor of the Bad Apple that you then see in the actual show itself. He creates Appley's Funhouse. Appley's Funhouse was then a method of temptation that was used to distract the people from work so that way they can play a game of checkers, in which then there's that whole kind of shindig where he's like,
"Oh, brother Obadiah, thou art so uptight. Prithee, let the brethren playeth a little checkers." Ephraim Appley.
And that whole shindig, yeah. And so then that becomes then a huge deal that then Obadiah Bumbley is dealing with, as well as the rest of the people of Bumbleburg. So Obadiah Bumbley comes in and says,
Thou hast tried to lead us into temptation, brother Ephraim, but we shall not follow thee. Obadiah Bumbley.
And they banish Obadiah Bumbley from Bumbleburg because of his actions of trying to lead the people into temptation. This event here is a key point in the origin of Larryboy itself. And the reason for that is because Obadiah Bumbley here sees these events with Ephraim Appley. And he's like, okay, this just happened. And he thinks to himself, Appley's Funhouse is donezo. However, how unlikely is it that potentially another individual like Ephraim Appley could show up? Like, how possible is that? And I think Obadiah realizes that it's not nearly as much out of the realm of possibility as he would want to believe. It is not like, it's not, he definitely knows that Ephraim Appley won't be the only one. And so, what does Obadiah Bumbley do? He understands that there needs to be somebody who is going to keep the people of Bumbleburg safe, that they are going to be able to keep people safe from temptation, other issues, and enemies that are going to be coming in. They're in a brand new area, and protection is necessary. But he knows that he can't do it all himself. So he sends word back to England or to Europe, wherever they were at, and summons his friends from over there. The ones that he would get are, you see, the descendants of the line of Archimedes, because that friendship is still there. That family bond is still there. So that descendant then comes over. You also get Lucas and Lewis from Duke and the Great Pie War and King George and the Ducky, Bob the Tomato, and he comes down. At least, like, what VeggieTales would describe use then as Bob the Tomato. I apologize. My webcam is going absolutely bonkers. I don't know how to keep it at a stable focus.
Bob, you can't do a Western this time. Bob, I can prepare. I need the Bible. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Look, it's the 10-gallon hat. What do you mean? No. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Oh, man.
That's much better. Okay. So, Obadiah Bumbley then brings them over. And then he goes and he is like, okay, something there, we're going to be budding a new nation here, which eventually will become the nation of America. And something, we're going to have enemies, not just from beyond our borders, but from within as well. And we need to be prepared for that. And so, Obadiah Bumbley here establishes the League of Incredible Vegetables in its early stage. It maybe wasn't necessarily called the League of Incredible Vegetables, but through the line of Archimedes, Lucas, and himself, they then designate themselves as being a secret organization to protect the nation of America from these dangers from within. He lets the external affairs go on to the military, but from the people within, that's what he does. Hence why then he becomes early superheroes. Okay, but he continues, Obadiah Bumbley continues to keep his interactions within the city of Bumbleburg. And probably even the descendant of Lucas stays in there. We're just gonna call him Bob, because he's Bob the Tomato in the show, and that just is an easy way to recognize him. And same thing with Archibald, we're just gonna keep it that way. So you got Bob, who probably sticks around as Bumbleburg being the first major city, sticks around there for a while. Archibald then sticks around there as well. They stick around for a while, and then eventually Bob moves off and starts another city. And whatever that city could be. It probably, I'm just going to say, because of the way it's been used in the show, and you've seen it happen in a few times, the city of Pugsleyville. We're just going to say Pugsleyville is the one that Bob goes off and starts on his own. And then Archibald and Obadiah Bumbley stick around, form Bumbleburg. Because he's a founding father of Bumbleburg, he's able to then get extremely wealthy from that and be able to make a lot of money being the leader of the city for years and years and years and years and years. And then throughout this instance, he then continues to keep the line of people set up going for 300 years. The descendants of Obadiah Bumbley, that line continues for, I guess I won't say quite 300 years, because we're going to be getting into the modern times at about 200 something ish years, like 290. Actually, we'll just go 300 because it was the tricentennial celebration of Bumbleburg. We'll just go with that. For 300 years, from the founding of Bumbleburg to then the present day, that line continues on, and eventually, as technology develops and stuff, that secret organization goes from like a secret agent kind of thing to then realizing that being like a secret agent intelligence kind of thing wasn't enough, to which then they become the League of Incredible Vegetables as we know them today. And throughout that time period, some descendant, once the technology would advance, would create then the first ever Larryboy. Larryboy is established in this instance. Thingamabob gets established in this instance. And throughout this 300 years, you then also get developing as more relationships happen. You get the heroes of Escape and Vogue. They also all show up. And that all then puts it together of, boom, this all happens. And the League of Incredible Vegetables becomes formed. The Larry Cave gets built. The relationship between Larryboy and the city of Bumbleburg gets established throughout this 300 years, and that then leads things like the Larry signal to be put up. because the Larry signal is going to be a thing that's going to be necessary in order to call Larryboy whenever they need those issues. That kind of whole thing gets set up. And we'll get into more things because you probably have other questions like what about the Bumbleburg Community College with the superhero class and stuff like that. That actually will get talked about later on as we get deeper on into the modern era. But for right now, we are out of time for this video. We have actually just hit now the modern era, and after 300 years, we are now where we're at with the current League of Incredible Vegetables with Larry the Cucumber, Bob the Tomato, Archibald Asparagus, Junior Asparagus, Mr. Lunt, and Petunia Rhubarb all becoming... Well, actually, Petunia isn't quite introduced yet in this stage as a member of the League of Incredible Vegetables. But I'll get to that in the modern day video. So we're getting closer to the end of this series. We have about 2 or 3 videos left. I'm not quite sure. I don't like going more than 10 minutes for these videos. So, anyway, that is where we're going to be ending off this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. There will be a link in the description below to the Discord if you want to talk about this more, if you have any questions. Or if you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment about it. Please like these videos. This lets us know that you guys enjoy doing the Countertop. I know I'm for sure going to be sticking with this series, maybe doing another one while I'm analyzing whether or not the Countertop is something we want to keep around on the channel. So please do continue to like, subscribe, comment, give us feedback, show us if there's any holes that you're finding in the theory. Feel free to talk about them. I want to be able to see what you guys can come up with. Check out some of our other content. That's going to be really great. There's some memes involved. There are Poop Scoop reacting to VeggieTales YouTube poops, so you can go ahead and see that. And yeah, we really want more and more support, so please do give us that. Because we really appreciate it. Helps to let us know you guys enjoy our content, and we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you all in the next video, in the next Countertop video. See you guys later.
Dance with me, Lampy!